小小溪水岸，壮士一去兮不复还。
I would be willing to bet that if you're a Community fan, there's a smile on your face right now as a result of your love for this scene and episode as a whole. And odds are, this is the episode you point to as the episode that changed the course of Community forever. The episode that opened the door for the future of Community's weird and wacky run. And while I definitely wouldn't disagree with that, I will say that this episode did not just come out of the blue, which is what I hear most Community fans say. They say season 1 was more or less a normal sitcom until this episode went balls to the wall crazy. Unfortunately, that's the way season 1 is viewed, as an average season that had the one good episode to set up the incredible seasons to come. But that is not true. In fact, the 22 episodes leading up to Modern Warfare gradually ramp up the chaos, patiently developing into the Community we know and love. Modern Warfare is just the tip of the iceberg, and so today, I want to review the underbelly and renew your love for this show's early days. I'm going to go through season 1 and highlight the big episodes/moments that demonstrate the chaos was there all along, as well as some smaller moments that I love and just can't help but mentioning. So, let's take a look back at the most underappreciated season and learn why it was streets ahead. There's no better place to start than the beginning. The first ever episode will give us a solid baseline to compare the rest of the season with. Overall, this episode is as close to a normal sitcom you'll get in this series. It introduces the characters, the conflict, doesn't do anything crazy, and leaves you none the wiser of what's to come. You can tell this is a very early episode because Britta isn't the worst yet. Here's probably the craziest or weirdest part of the episode to give you an idea of our starting point.
I'm also a Toastmaster, so perhaps I should do the introduction.
Definitely.
All right, you already know Brittles.
Britta?
Abed the Arab. Is that inappropriate?
Sure.
Roy the Wonder Boy.
Troy.
Little Princess Elizabeth.
Annie.
And finally, this beautiful creature, his name's Shirley.
Is that even close?
Now we head right into what I consider the show's first instance of showing its odd uniqueness, in the very next episode, with the Pierce Jeff Spanish presentation. I remember thinking how weird and wacky this sequence was, and it's the first time the show strayed away from reality and into the bombastic. Only a tiny bit here, but it's there. I mean, seriously, just look at this. Normally, a sitcom isn't meant to take
Your breath away?
As we move along, there are a couple small moments I want to mention because of how much I love them. Episode 4, Social Psychology, where Troy freaks out after waiting for Annie's experiment. And this incredible exchange in Episode 6, Football, Feminism, and You.
I'm saying you're a football player. It's in your blood.
That's racist.
Your soul.
That's racist.
Your eyes.
That's gay.
That's homophobic.
That's black.
That's racist.
Damn.
Also, the human being is created in this episode.
Solve racism. What's next?
Let's do something for little people.
Episode 7 is where Community's roots really start to grab, with the first ever Halloween episode, Introduction to Statistics. As we know, the Halloween episodes are some of the most popular and surreal. And while this episode comparatively stays grounded, it still has plenty of awesome, funny moments that were used as building blocks for the show's future boundary-pushing episodes. Abed's commitment to being Batman, Britta's anti-conforming to societal norms, Pierce having to be saved from his own destructive path, and just feast your feet on that stack of sticks. It's not a super crazy episode, but I like that. It's a nice story to revisit to remind yourself that even before the show cranked the dial to 11, it was still the best show on television.
Yes, I am Batman.
What's the first episode that made me burst out laughing? The answer is Debate 109. This episode completely sold me on watching the rest of the show. It's like the previous 8 episodes pitched the product, and this episode closed the sale. First of all, Abed's future predicting videos with random people portraying the main cast of characters is hilarious in all the right ways.
Get a load of these wrinkles.
Who's that old guy?
Hi, I'm Chris Arthur.
Oh, come on!
Secondly, is one of my favorite all-time Community scenes, the wheelchair jump. This scene made me cry of laughter, and I still die laughing when I watch it today. It's just so exaggerated and absurd. The way he flies out of the wheelchair, the dramatic music, the slow motion. It's just so beautiful, and the first time Community completely ignored realism in favor of a more abstract representation of events. And it works perfectly.
He hates me, yet he caught me.
And along we keep on moving, past Troy and Abed's cover of Somewhere Out There, right through December 10th, and into the show's first dip into genre/homage episodes. Now, I will reiterate that episode 13 is a dip, not a plunge. This episode got its feet wet and tested the water, but is largely a forgotten episode. So allow these clips to jog your memory.
Andy's pretty young. We try not to sexualize her.
Now, I know the news of Senior Chang's death over winter break was a shock to us all.
I'm a man who can never die.
And throughout the episode, we get the homage and references to MASH, of course perpetuated by Abed.
Of all your pop culture fixations, this is one I can work with, Abed.
Call me Radar.
When you've earned it.
The episode even ends with MASH-style ending credits. Now, most of you probably haven't seen MASH, but the point is, it was a prevalent theme throughout the episode.
Thank you. Radar.
Oh, you made me so happy I just peed a little. I know it's tempting to sneak a peek, but I'm gonna need for you to keep your eyes up here.
Honestly, at first, I wanted to break this episode down even more, but the truth is, it's just a fun plotline I want to mention because it's one of my favorites. And that is Britta and Troy's dance classes and recital. So incredible, so funny, and it perfectly captures who these two characters are. Sure, Britta may be the worst, but her friends are always there to help her out in the end. Even if this is culturally unacceptable, there's no denying it's theatrical dynamite.
What you did up there really took guts. I'm impressed.
Thanks, Pierce.
Yeah, and such a creative way to tell the world you're gay.
Now we arrive at a pivotal episode for the show. Physical education took a big step forward into the outrageous. This episode ran so Modern Warfare could sprint. Let's recap. We have two storylines in this episode. The gang trying to get Abed to meet a girl, and Jeff trying to be a cool pool player. And it's the latter that we're gonna focus on. The episode begins with
Bagels.
which a leather-clad Jeff knocks over, as he is dressed up cool for his first day of billiards class. However, the coach has his own dress code, requiring short shorts to be worn. This doesn't sit well with Jeff, who is clearly uncomfortable by the outfit. He's too prideful to wear the shorts, and leaves class after an argument with Coach Bogner. We next see Jeff when he walks in on the group trying to coach Abed on how to approach a girl, even though Don Draper Abed is clearly the sexiest.
I liked it.
And when asked why he isn't in pool class, Jeff completely misses the obvious lesson, smacking him in the face, freaks out about how he doesn't look cool in shorts, and storms out. Cut to the study room, where Jeff is still being haunted by his uncool pool shorts.
Jeff Winger, I've been informed by Coach Bogner that you left your panties in his pool class, so better pick those up.
That is until Abed gives a rousing speech about being confident in yourself and knowing who you are. A bit of a reverse Winger speech, as it is now Jeff who is lifted by the words of Abed. With renewed confidence, he goes to challenge Coach Bogner to a game of pool. And so begins the greatest pool match of all time. I think the best phrase to describe what comes next is,
That escalated quickly.
the sequence of events goes as follows. Jeff challenges Coach Bogner, they play around. Coach Bogner accuses Jeff of learning nothing except how to look cool playing pool in shorts, in which Jeff's natural response is this. They play in their skivvies until only the 8-ball remains. And then, well, words can't do justice to what happens next. So here it is. Everything about that is absolutely amazing. You could just feel that the show was gaining confidence and that it was just getting started with this kind of stuff. And so it did continue. Through episode 18, where Britta gets spanked by Troy's Nana, episode 19, where Pierce is left to drown in a parking lot and Jeff is turned jealous by pottery expert Richie, and episode 20, which I think is best captured by out-of-context moments shown in succession.
Looking for something?
Jeff, I can read minds.
April 1st is officially March 32nd forever.
Your ass is on the line.
My ass is on the line.
You just got off the phone with the mayor.
I just got off the phone with what the mayor.
Agitating my sciatica.
Penis! 2 penises!
Well, I mean...
Oh! This is not a meteor, it's a cookie one.
Guys, what's going on? Where are the cameras?
Oh, we're not filming this.
Now, who'd want to watch this?
Oh, guys, it's 6 a.m. Jeez.
Well, we made it. Mark it down because episode 21 is where Community takes its truest form and gives us a ridiculously perfect episode where the stakes have never been lower, but the drama and intensity have never been higher. Modern Warfare may be the most known, but make no mistake, this episode did it first. The culmination of everything that came before. Contemporary American poultry. The episode that was the first true-to-heart community genre episode. 2 episodes before the famous Modern Warfare. If you laid out season 1 as chess pieces, Modern Warfare would be the king, but this episode would be the queen. Yet, for some reason, it doesn't get the recognition it deserves. To jog your memory, this is a straight genre episode, paying homage to mafia movies.
Back in those days, Jeff Winger was the guy that made things happen. He always knew what to say, and he always knew when to slap the table.
Where previous episodes dipped their toes, Contemporary American Poultry dives in head first. With Abed narrating the episode, we get a story about the power of delicious chicken fingers, as Abed becomes the head of a chicken finger mafia family.
At that moment, we stopped being a family and started being a family. In italics.
Only a school as wonderful as Greendale can be controlled by the supply of cafeteria chicken. When the group can't get any chicken due to Starburn skimming some fingers for his friends, they devise a plan to get one of their own to work the chicken fryer. Their plan is successful, and with Abed in control of the chicken, they bathe in all the riches that come with crispy tenders. You know, things like hot guys and monkeys, the normal stuff. But then, the power starts to go to Abed's head, as he becomes the new leader of the study group, usurping Jeff. But as with all crime families, his reign comes crashing down. After killing Annie's backpack, feeding Chicken the Shirley's love interest, cutting the cord to Pierce's TV, and of course letting Annie's boobs free, Abed goes back to square one. And we end the episode with a heartfelt conversation between Abed and Jeff. One of my personal favorite scenes from the entire show. And of course, one more movie reference from Abed.
16 candles.
And the rest is history. 2 episodes later, we would get the paintball action thriller that officially put Community in a category of its own. The remaining 2 episodes of season 1 were a little more calm, almost like a goodbye to the first phase of Community, and welcoming in the next phase of the show. Episode 24 is actually the episode where Troy's handyman journey begins.
You could be a plumber!
So now, as you rewatch the more famous Community episodes, such as Pillows and Blankets, Remedial Chaos Theory, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, and many more, try to remember where they came from. And if you have the time, go back and watch Season 1. Because true fans know that Season 1 was streets ahead.
Finally popular enough to be in the yearbook?
What do you mean, video yearbook? Where do I sign?
Photo not available.
This better not be one of those take your top off videos.
I don't believe in yearbooks.
Just want people to remember there's a guy in between these things.
What a year. Only 2 pregnancy scares.
I give this year a D for delightful.